Hello, Riversiders. Welcome back to our series on Big Church Words. This is week 4 of 5, and the word for this week is the word fellowship. Fellowship is probably the most overused word within a church context. I would venture to guess that it's used far more often than it should, to the point that it almost loses its meaning. I mean, think about it. We have fellowship committees, fellowship hours. We even use fellowship as a verb sometimes, like come and fellowship with us on Wednesday night or something like that. So what are we even talking about when we use the word fellowship? Well, here's a good biblical verse that uses the word itself. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 says, God is faithful, and by him you were called into the fellowship, there it is, of his Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. Now I appeal to you, brothers and sisters, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that all of you be in agreement, and that there be no divisions among you, but that you be united in the same mind and the same purpose. So fellowship from this text clearly is more than just any sort of get-together or any sort of hanging out. Fellowship is that which elicits cooperation, the same kind of action around things like worship or things like behaviors, beliefs that we do together as a church. I like the word cooperation, but perhaps the better word is the word unity. Unity is kind of a fraught word because it seems almost unrealistic today that we could ever actually be united on anything. We spend so much time getting hung up on the things that separate us, our differences of opinion, our different views. But unity is something that we can actually pursue. Of course, it does require us being willing to discover where we disagree, and even that is sometimes too daunting to do, and so we don't pursue unity. But Christian fellowship assumes that a certain degree of unity is possible, a certain degree of cooperation is possible, because we have been united in the fellowship of Jesus Christ. So Jesus becomes that which forms an umbrella that unites us in fellowship. Beneath the umbrella of Christ, there is a larger thing that unites us that is in fact bigger than those smaller things that divide us. This is what makes fellowship possible. So fellowship is that which is shared among a group of people and leads to a certain action in accordance with those shared beliefs. And again, for the church, that's things like worship, it's things like our outreach ministries, the things that we do together to grow in faith. The Greek word for fellowship is koinonia, a nice word that refers to a close association involving mutual interests and shared participation. In other words, fellowship is something that we participate in. Again, it's an action verb as much as it is just a common understanding. Fellowship is something that we practice together as a church. So in the end, Christian fellowship really is a kind of unity in cooperation, operating together for our shared purpose and mission as a church. Whatever other differences of belief we have in other areas of life, they don't inhibit our ability to share beliefs and behavior about Christ that are prompted by Christ and lead to more faithful discipleship. So there you go. There's some background on the word fellowship and its biblical meaning, and I now invite you into a time of fellowship amongst yourselves as you talk about how this word operates in your daily lives. Enjoy the time together, and thanks for being with us.